So we are fresh off a round at Aberdovey.
I'm not that fresh. I'm still hurting quite a lot, to be honest, Nish.
Go on, what's happened?
Just my ankles and my elbows.
Oh,
And
are you in serious discomfort
I wouldn't say
post-round?
serious discomfort, but 2 rounds of golf in 2 days is
This is new
certainly making
information
me
to
feel
me.
my age.
I
Yeah.
didn't realise that was the thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've knackered both my ankles playing tennis, and I want to play golf. It's really sore because you kind of roll
And your
into them.
hand was injured as well. So how's that
Yeah,
holding up?
hand's fine.
Right.
Hand's fine.
I've got blisters.
Oh my God, what has happened to you
My
two?
feet.
It's only
Well,
golf.
it's,
Like,
it's the golf shoes that I've got about 20 years old from.
People tell me it's a gentle sport, and so I've got the walking wounded here.
I was fine otherwise because we were doing me stretches, wasn't I? So
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm fine. By the
yeah,
way,
yeah, fine.
It's-
Apart from the blisters, I'm
just
absolutely
stay
fine.
overweight, guys. That's the way to do it. I think that's what you should learn. So, a few things that we will discuss about Abu Dhabi. We've gone through how unbelievably friendly this golf club was.
yeah,
So we'll say it once. They were unbelievably friendly.
yeah. I think
And
on the day it lived up to expectations, didn't it?
yeah,
It was a great welcome, wasn't it?
we got
All
like
round.
personal introductions from the manager to Gareth, who played with us. Gareth is the chair of memberships, and
Yeah.
the pro was unbelievably friendly. There's a chap now. People listening may know about this guy. So he's gone viral. He's the barman at Aberdovey.
Yeah.
Big Newcastle United fan,
Hmm.
and he's gone viral because I think since something like that was in 1992 when the Premiership kicked off, but he knows every single Newcastle United Premiership result, like, and he can just recall them like that.
Yeah.
So,
A pretty useless but a pretty incredible
yeah.
talent, right?
But somebody told me this before I'd actually met him, and I was like, "Where have I heard about this?" And I think it's because it had come up in the Cookie Jar
Yeah.
podcast as well, Cookie Jar Golf podcast.
Yeah.
So I had heard about that, but honestly, like character,
Yeah,
that
well,
guy.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He
He was
was.
still on a come down from Newcastle's glorious victory over Liverpool in the Carabao
I
Cup.
got the feeling he partied hard after that. Definitely
I
got
think
that
he was
feeling.
ready to party again on a Sunday night.
I think if somebody would have said, "Shall we go again?" he would have definitely done that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
when I was at the bar, he was telling a story that just towards the end of the game, he looked up, caught someone out the corner of his eye, and it was Alan Shearer sat kind of 6 rows behind him.
Oh wow!
Nice.
All right, wow. So Alan,
So for a massive Newcastle United supporter to see Alan Shearer there,
yeah, legend until he's managed them. But
yeah, didn't win anything with them either, did he?
no, he didn't, did he? Yeah, but
Neither did anyone else though, Jim, to be fair,
Well,
until recently.
that's another podcast, isn't it? Newcastle United. But yeah, it was just like we just felt at home. I think.
Yeah.
Um,
I think like to a man, everyone at that golf club was on the same kind of level, I think, weren't they? They were all
yeah,
just had that
that's rare.
extra. That is rare. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
very rare. That extra level of kind of customer service.
Yeah, I got an email from Susie, who's the manager. She's
Yeah.
the one who'd sorted us out
Yeah.
for Jim's round and things like that. And she said, again, it was on. So it was on. I think it was at like 10 o'clock on Sunday night, and it was like it was a pleasure meeting you.
Mm.
Thank you for being great visitors. Um, if there's ever any time you want to come back, you're more than welcome. Please let me know. We'll look after you, all that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
just wrote her back on Monday. I was like, so sorry I didn't reply earlier, but we kind of got home and it was like straight to bed and all that kind of stuff. But like, can't begin to tell you how thankful we are for the welcome we got.
Yeah.
And also, actually, a massive amount of credit to you. You're the person at the top,
Yeah.
and then that filters down.
Absolutely,
And to a
yeah.
man, everybody follows what you've asked them to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
or not asked them to do, but like how to be.
Yeah,
I think.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to consider playing somewhere and you're like, oh, not really sure about playing, this is an unbelievable place to play.
Yeah. And I think by the time we get to the end of this 100 golf courses, I still think that's probably going to be our number one in terms of customer service and,
How are we
and
gonna beat that?
friendliness. Like it feels difficult to beat, doesn't it?
Absolutely. How do you beat that kind of welcome? It's just
Yeah.
unbelievable. So um, we'll leave it at now. I think we've probably over-egged that, haven't we? People want to know about actual golf. I
Yes.
think so. Kind of looking at few things I've got to discuss. We didn't disgrace ourselves on the signature hole
Not
this
entirely.
time.
Not entirely. No.
I don't think we covered ourselves in any glory, but it was certainly better Jim, was it? I don't really know.
Not for me, it wasn't. That's when
Jim
it all
had a little
started.
trip into the Irish Sea. Is it the Irish Sea there?
I didn't.
It wasn't quite that bad.
It wasn't quite that bad.
But we certainly
no.
didn't find the ball, did
Didn't
we?
get it airborne enough to
No,
get into the
no,
sea,
no.
did you?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where it all started to unravel for me on the round, I think. So
Did it on
yeah,
that 12, right?
yeah.
I think we noticed you visibly looked tired, and actually it turns out you maybe had blisters at that time.
No, I didn't
So-
notice that.
Oh, did you
at
not at that
no,
time?
no. I think it was just.
You visibly
yeah.
looked.
I think that
I was concentrating so
Tired.
much through the round, and the
Yeah.
tips that you've been giving me, Chris, and I think the mental exhaustion just kind of set in.
But I mean, that's an interesting point because I think because for the weekend we were staying right next to the course, so we were overlooking basically the first and the 18th holes, weren't we? And every time I looked out the window, I just thought, crikey, that looks tight. There doesn't look like there's much forgiveness in there. There's not much room for error. And then I think when we first arrived, we kind of got directed over to the practice ground, didn't we? So Jim and I went over to the practice ground with a tube of balls each, and the pro said, "Doesn't matter if you lose a few." I was thinking, "Oh, I'm not gonna lose any balls. Don't be ridiculous. I can hit some balls down a practice ground." And then we got to the practice ground, and then there's maybe like 4 or 5 meters of width.
Yeah,
It
I was
was
like,
very narrow.
oh shit, is this a prelude for what's about to come on the course? And ultimately, it certainly was for the first few holes anyway. You kind of go out that first 3 or 4 holes, which, by the way, are a great opening 4 holes.
What were the words on the flyovers that they did? So we didn't watch any videos, did we, of the actual course
Not until
on our
just before,
preview.
yeah.
And then we'd done our preview, and then we watched it. And then me and Chris sent a couple of messages to each other going, I think we might have just done it just the day of preview, maybe.
Yeah,
Sent a
possibly.
couple of messages to each other going, we better not send these to Jim because they keep using the words challenging and hard
Yeah,
and
most
hardest
difficult.
in Wales. And we were like, oh, like, we're excited about this round. We don't want to be putting any kind of down on it. But it didn't feel like that, though.
I think apart from the first, so I think that opening hole, that's a tough opening. So we had the prevailing wind, didn't we? So it was into the wind, reasonably long, sort of 400-yard par 4. That's a tough opening hole.
The hardest in Welsh golf, apparently.
Well, I mean, it's probably only the second or third time I've played in Wales, but it's certainly the hardest opening hole I've played in Wales.
Hole, isn't it?
But yeah, certainly a tough opening drive. Like if you're nervous going in there in a comp, like.
And what a great host Gareth was. He didn't hit a good drive on the first.
Didn't. I mean, he lost his ball for us.
Yeah, he did.
Thanks, Gareth.
Made us feel welcome.
I hit the fairway, just saying.
You did? I think you pretty much the only one who hit the fairway, weren't you? I think we were all a little bit wide. So yeah.
But yeah, I think
hardest.
But
it's challenging.
It is hard,
Aced
and
it.
it is a challenging opening, but it's also an incredibly beautiful opening 3-4 holes, isn't it?
Stunning place to play.
Like
golf.
it's not one of those like I think we played St David's the day before, and you kind of it takes a little while to get into it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But bang, like straight on that first hole, you're like, wow, like I'm
no
playing links golf now.
Yeah, there was
So,
no like
definitely links golf. And then weather was
ease
so
you into
different.
it.
No, absolutely not.
It felt like it eased off a little bit in the early part, maybe the mid part of the front nine.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think.
It gives
There
you
was
a
a
bit
lot
of-
of point and click kind of holes, wasn't it? It was like what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
Wasn't too much danger or anything like that, and then it built up again.
yeah,
For the back
towards
nine.
it, which is a great way to do it actually, because like
Yeah.
you're kind of straight in there, and you're like, oh, this is real links golf. And I think walking between the
Yeah.
second and the third, you're just kind of walking in between all the dunes. You've got all the big grass growing up either side of you, and it's you really feel like you're immersed in it, don't you? I think at that point.
I took a picture of them, but I really loved the paths that we were walking on.
Yeah, well, I think Gareth was
Sandy,
saying
wasn't
they've just been relaid, haven't they? But
Yeah.
they looked kind of pristine and bright and kind of
Really nice white sand.
yeah,
and
leading your way through the dunes was
That was
a
lovely.
pretty
That.
pretty
Yeah,
epic
really.
way to start the round.
It's a
wasn't it?
well-maintained golf course as well.
Yeah.
Despite retaining a lot of rugged features, it was really, really well looked after. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that bit when you hit the 12th and then you stood at the top. I mean, the lucky thing about my tee shot was that it went out wide right, so it gave me the opportunity to stand there and just kind of
Stand
peer
on the
over
beach.
edge, and it drops off and there's the beach and there's the
Yeah.
sea. So what a stunning place to play golf, and sandwiched between a beach and a railway track. You wouldn't imagine it, would you?
No, it was a very stunning course actually, and obviously where we stayed, we got a reasonable view of it and driving up the coast to see how long it was actually.
But yeah,
So
I think
quite
I was a little bit
compacted.
worried. I think having looked, like I say, overlooked those 2 holes for 2 days, thinking this is going to be tricky, and then you go on the practice ground, and you're like, this is going to be really tricky,
Yeah.
and then you play the opening hole, and you're like, yep, this is exactly what I signed up for. But actually, like you say, after this first sort of 4 holes, it kind of eases off
Just
a little
ease
bit
off
and
a
lets
bit.
you
Yeah.
lets you in a little bit,
feeling.
doesn't it, at that point?
Yeah. The practice facilities are probably worth mentioning. So there wasn't a driving range. There was just this one practice ground, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It had a net and things like that. And the chipping, the putting green looked in pristine condition. But I didn't get a chance to go in any of it because I was kind of off talking to
You're busy
people.
schmoozing.
Yeah, too busy schmoozing. And then the kids came and I was like, right, okay, sort their lunch out. And I was like, okay. I think I rocked up to the practice net and there was some old couple were there. And I couldn't figure out whether they were packing up or they'd just arrived. So I said, "Oh, have you finished?" He's like, "Oh, I just need 2 hits." So he just had 2 hits, moved all of his stuff. I hit 3 balls, that was it, and then we went to the tee, so it was time. And then as I sort of, pardon me, as I turned around and looked back, poor guy, he'd gone back into the net again. So because I'd asked him, he just went, "Oh, I'll let this guy have a little hit." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's really nice." I'd have told him to bugger off. No, mate, wait your turn. It's fine. You know. So that was like a lot of the practice facilities. I mean, the clubhouse is pretty new as well because I think it was '98. I think it was built, wasn't it?
I think Gareth said it had burned
So it
down
burned
twice.
down
Did he
twice,
say?
yeah.
Yeah.
Third time lucky this time.
Yeah,
eh?
maybe. Yeah.
I mean, what would do that? I mean, it doesn't look like there's anything around it to burn. It's weird. It's in the middle of. But that train station.
Maybe the rough had just grown too much and a
Yeah.
bit of a wildfire.
Well, I think that was another thing that Gareth mentioned about, we're very early in the season and things haven't fully grown because they've been tending to it over the winter. So
Yeah,
it could be a very, very different round if we went in, say, 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Absolutely, but I mean,
But that's the beauty of.
it was in pretty pristine condition. Like
It was. The greens were markedly better than Royal St David's.
Yeah, I think so.
thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even though that rough was down, if your ball went in there, it was I mean, we looked a few times, didn't we? It was a battle finding your ball.
My ball.
There was a really funny moment actually, and I think it probably came on the back 9 actually, if I think about it now. But we were kind of like walking along, and I think you'd hit your drive, and then I hadn't noticed this at all up to now, and you just went, oh. It's nice to be able to just walk with you guys so I can have a bit of a chat. Like, all right.
No, that was on the 6th or 7th.
Early on, was it early? Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. I think you spanked your drive then, didn't you?
Yeah.
So it was. That was.
Well, the driving at Royal St David's in the back 9 was improving, so I was hopeful that things would move slightly in a slightly better direction, and it did for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've got him looking at the scorecard. You got 3 pars in a row. Is that right?
Mm.
Yeah. Sorry, I sound really, really surprised. Is that right? This scorecard's not right, is it?
And one of them had to take a drop, otherwise it would have been a bit.
But you parred a par 5, you parred a par 4, and you parred a par 3 all in a row.
Mm.
That's golf, isn't it? That's completing golf.
Just need to do that like 15 more times.
Yeah,
Do that
in a
left-handed.
round.
So you did it left-handed, right-handed, and with your head, and that's the perfect hat trick sort of thing. Shall we? What? I'll let you guys decide what we talk about next. Do we do the signature hole, the side bet, or our actual scorecards? What do you think? What do you think people would want to know first?
I think signature hole. We'll leave scorecard to the end.
Yeah.
To the end,
because
right.
you won this. So, spoiler alert.
Yeah. I'm pretty fucking happy with my scorecard.
Well, it should be you both played really, really well over the whole weekend, I thought. So.
Yeah,
particularly you on the Sunday. I mean, you were just solid. I think the whole
on the Saturday. Yeah, I think I was a bit disappointed on the Sunday. I feel like a bit of
a
few of those poor shots just crept back in on the Sunday, but I don't think it's just a bit of tiredness and a bit of lack of concentration.
That was pretty much the best 18 holes of golf I think I've played.
That's definitely the best 18 holes I've seen you play.
Yeah,
because
even
were
though I
on
was
it.
shot lower, which may give it away a little bit more, but even though I've shot lower, I felt like that was the right mixture of on a tougher course, all that kind of thing. There was wind up, all that kind of thing, and thinking about things, clubbing up and all that kind of stuff. I loved it.
Yeah.
Because I was hitting it well, I loved it. I think
Yeah.
I can imagine if I wasn't, I'd be going. Oh.
But yeah, I think that level of wind is the perfect amount for a links course. Like it's about
Breeze,
club and a
wasn't it?
half worth of worth of wind. It's enough to make it challenging, but it's not like so brutal that you're like, well, I'm just gonna have to do it driver into a
We
par
didn't really have any
four.
cross either, did we? Like,
No,
didn't
there's
feel
that
like we had
one
to
little, there's that
aim.
one par three that kind of cuts across, but it is pretty much an out and back,
Nailed
isn't
my
it?
tee shot on that one. That was very satisfying to do. Yeah. Okay. You said signature hole. So the signature hole at Aberdovey is the 12th. It's a par three uphill.
Yeah.
It's a on the side of a hill, well, on the top of a hill, I suppose. This green. Anything short and left is just rough and
Massive
bang.
drop off, isn't it? So I actually
Yeah.
asked Gareth after we played it. I said, is that like an actual sand dune that they've kind of taken the top off and put a green on? He said, no, they've built it up, but it feels like you're playing almost to the top of a sand dune, doesn't it? Just like there's a bit of a plateau on the top of a big kind of dune like mound.
They've built that up. They've built that up incredibly well because that does look exactly.
It
how
looks
natural,
natural, doesn't it? It looks really
totally
natural, yeah.
Yeah, like they said, it just lopped off the top of a
Exactly,
dune.
yeah. It kind of felt like that, didn't it?
That's incredibly good course design, isn't it? And then
Yeah.
right, long, and right of the hole is drop off.
But yeah,
beach,
you've just basically
Irish
got
Sea.
a load of sleepers. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing worth noting. The sleepers, like the upright sleepers, were used really beautifully around there. So you're kind of walking along the path sometimes. There's these beautiful kind of C-shaped sleepers pointing out, which is a really nice touch.
We've probably used the word a few times. Really stunning, but it was a stunningly beautiful golf course.
It was, yeah.
Like a really pleasing on the eye.
Yeah, for sure.
So right, so our signature hole challenge, that's me and you, and that is who wins the hole basically between me and you. So we didn't really cover ourselves in glory, but it wasn't as bad as Royal St. David's.
It wasn't quite that bad.
That was horrific.
That was pretty horrendous.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, it was.
So I think we did better than that in that we got up and around the green.
Yeah,
you were on the green.
I got on
You
the
were
green with one shot and then just my standard 3-putt to get in.
Yeah. I mean, no, you could see that happening, couldn't you? Really? And then, what happened with you, Jim? Because I think we sort of lost you a little bit in amongst the trying to film things.
I'm not part of the challenge. Let's move on.
Let's gloss over it, shall we? What challenge? What side bet?
I feel like we did lose you a little on the Sunday. I felt like we lost you a little bit, Jim, in the links.
We spoke, like didn't we? And we were like, I think Jim's ready for jacking it in now.
Yeah. You look like you were done at one point.
You had as
that must have been the 14th, the 15th.
Yeah,
maybe,
I think towards the back at the back.
That's around about how
we
said it. I think. Yeah. That's as we said in the last episode, you had your 19th hole stance on at that point.
yeah. It's like get me to the bar.
3 hour drive to get back.
Yeah.
Almost ran out of fuel in the middle of Wales.
Get me to the bar.
Well, I think that's I think 2 days of links golf is mentally and physically it's challenging, isn't it? Like you're always kind of got to be switched on. You've got to be thinking, and it's not a place. If you're hitting bad shots, it soon gets to you, doesn't it?
It's going to be tough that when we do our little Aberdeen adventure.
Yes.
That's 3. That's in Scotland in August. So it's going to be lashing down and cold and wet. So if we're lucky, Okay, so that's the signature hole challenge. But we had a side bet, didn't we? I think we had a side bet to that, didn't we? That was closest to the green. Did he have to be on the green to be closest to the green? That was the hole. Sorry, you have to be on the green, don't you?
Yeah.
So you won
officially,
that one,
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, you won that one.
Yeah. I think you were probably a bit closer, but you weren't on the green.
I was pretty close.
Technicalities here,
My shot that I played actually, because you obviously you filmed it, because we're filming those shots. We're gonna try and clip that up.
Yeah.
If it makes any kind of decent, it probably doesn't make any kind of decent viewing, but people might want to see it. I don't know. The internet is full of wonderful things that people like. But the shot that I played, the execution wasn't right, and it was about half a yard short of where it needed to land. But as I'd hit it, I was like, I know I've not hit this enough, but if I'd have hit that right, that was like one of those ones where I'd gone, that was like the perfect shot to play in that instance. Like I'd planned it just right.
Say that about any shot, really, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, shut up, Jim. You're not part of this
in
now.
my head, that's the perfect shot.
You're off. Like, shut up. You're off air.
If I'd hit it straight in 350 yards right in the hole, then it would have been the perfect
Would have been
shot.
a perfect shot. Yeah. Yeah, that's stupid, isn't it? Stupid thing to say. Okay, so we've done our side bet and we've done our signature hole.
But you did stop the rot though, Nish. So you didn't lose that hole.
Didn't lose that hole. We tied it.
We halved it in 4.
Tied it. Halved it. So you're
first
still
one you've
4
not
up.
lost. 4 up after 5.
5 rounds.
Yeah, the comeback's on.
It could start now. This is it. Just you just need a run of run of form, and then
Form.
yeah. So we'll have to tap you up for the next one, Jim. And I don't even know what the next signature will be, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, I do.
Oh, I do.
Oh, do you? Oh,
yeah,
no.
Yeah. It's a really good one.
Right, excellent.
It's a really good one.
Right, we'll move on then, shall we?
But that's a different episode. So.
Now, do we talking about the holes anyway and the course? I think we'll maybe blend this in with the scorecard because I think it'll help us probably remember the course a bit.
Yeah.
I
So we
got 3
talked
pars
about-
in a row. That's all you need to know about my
You
round.
did, mate. I mean, and
Which
rest of it-
actually-
Where was that? Where were those 3 holes? Which
So that is 7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9.
7,
yeah.
8, 9.
And actually,
So the 9th was the par 3 where
Okay, yeah.
and then you
The
got
seventh, was the 7th? Was that the really long par 4 into the wind?
par
Or was
5.
that the
it
6th?
was.
Par 5,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Because the 6th was the one.
Was that the really? Was that I had driver 5 wood and I was still short? Like 2 really good
The-
shots.
Yeah, the
Still
6th was the
short.
one where you went left, and he said, "Oh, that's on the 10th fairway," and we couldn't find
Right.
it. But then we did find it on the 10th
yeah,
because.
we were on
So you know when you found that ball on the 10th behind that bunker, and you were like, "This is a tight list. Is this yours?" Or, no, mine's a probably one. Not
Oh,
that
right,
one.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you were like, well, take it anyway. It was Jim's ball from,
From
the,
the
6th
previous hole.
Yeah, that's it. So it was there the whole
Ah.
time. But I was like, but where it was landed, it was behind a bunker. Like how it's ended up there, I've got no idea. But
I'm a special type of player.
yeah, that's never a truer word has been said.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah. So as we established, very hard opening hole,
Yeah.
reflected in 676 for us.
Yeah.
So now we were a bit like, oh, even though.
What did Gareth get though? Just saying.
Well,
Didn't-
he just picked up.
just
so
picked
it's
up, didn't
probably
he?
like 20, isn't it? I think
10.
that's- Yeah.
So I because we were meant to be engaging in a little bit of a kind of a match play, me and Gareth versus YouTube. That didn't last after
It
after
went
the
after
first
3
hole.
holes, didn't
yeah,
We were
yeah.
3 or 4 up after. Yeah, we were probably 4 up after 4, and I think we probably gave up
No, you
after
weren't,
that, didn't
you
we?
weren't.
No, we were 3 up after 4.
Yeah, guess so.
3
I
up
tied the
after 4.
first. Just say.
Yes, you tied the first. That's right. And then I went on a run. Well,
You
actually,
did, you did.
You won the
Yeah, yeah.
second, didn't you? Because you got a par then. But yeah, then I went on a run. I was like, it was just becoming a massacre, mate. I thought we thought let's just not keep count anymore. This is not good.
Can't believe he saddled me with him. Sorry, Gareth. I'm only joking. You know I'm
Can
only
you
joking.
imagine? Can you imagine? It's like, oh, don't put with Gareth again. Oh, God. I mean, what a top guy. He was a
Yeah, he was,
lovely,
yeah.
lovely guy, wasn't he?
He was really great value, wasn't he?
Ex-Navy, like.
Yeah.
He's a physically imposing chap, isn't he? Because even when I first heard him, I was like, "Oh, you are a big guy."
Yeah.
But what that lovely, softly spoken,
Yeah,
just
lovely
really
guy.
nice manner about him.
He was.
If we meet other members and play with him, and they like him, I think we're in for a treat, aren't we?
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely.
So,
For sure.
so we've got, I think, yeah, the first 3 or 4, and you kind of, they all seemed like we were teeing off all on the left-hand side, right by the sea, weren't we?
Yeah.
Quite high up.
You're kind of in the
usually.
dunes at that point, aren't you? You're right in
Yeah.
the midst of it. Yeah.
And there were some tough tee shots there, weren't there? Like visually, they felt like they were all funneling into one point.
Yeah. Again, that was the benefit of having Gareth there. Certainly for those opening sort of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You need someone to tell you where you're aiming at because there's
Yeah,
not
that's it.
really a lot to go off visually.
Yeah, there was
is
one
there?
I think where he was going, "Oh, bailout areas on the left, but your line is to the right," and I was like, "But that actually looks like you're just going straight to rough." But it's like, no, it opens up. And
Yeah.
it was really helpful having him there,
Yeah.
wasn't it? 'Cause
But I said to you, didn't I, Nish? In the morning, I kind of got the card up and got the yardages up, and I said to Nish, I was like, I don't even think I'm going to need my driver for the first
No.
9 holes. It's
You
going to be
did say
great. I'm
that,
just going to play really defensive golf. And we got there, and obviously there was a prevailing wind into. And every time Gareth stood up on the tee, he's a good player who plays off 2. He got his driver out. I was like, maybe I should hit my driver.
there weren't.
But
I did say that to him actually. I said as we got to the end of the round, I was like, there weren't many holes where you were thinking not to take the driver.
think-
and tactically.
pretty much, every par 4
I
or
did
par
one
5.
stupidly on one hole and hit a 5-iron. It still left me like 260 yards approach. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I've done that. I should just hit my driver, like get it a bit further down.
Like
But
normally on that sort of course, I would probably get my 5 wood out quite a lot and play
Yeah.
fairly safe. But actually, you just needed the driver to keep
needed
it
the
low in
distance.
the wind
And
and just
we played off some of them were winter tees. weren't
Yeah,
they, where it
yeah.
was a bit forward. So yeah, I think when the wind kicks up on there, it'll be that's a test.
I mean, there's
isn't
some really, really, really long par 4s on that.
it? Long par
There's
fours.
2
yeah.
really long par 4s.
So we sort of hit that, and then we hit a was it the 5th then? That was the par 3 that had the
It's
cross.
the par 3 that kind of cuts across. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the only hole that seemed to have the crosswind, didn't it? Because again,
Yeah.
that was obviously it's up and down. But the course turns 90 degrees, doesn't it? So the kind of wind
Yeah, it's kind of
changes
out and back. So
direction.
you get to 10, is it? And then you turn around at 11.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Turn around at 12. 12.
No, no, 12's the signature. You don't turn there, do you? I think you turn just one. No, 10. You turn at 10.
Turn at 10, then you go back at 11.
We
10,
played that
yeah,
par 3,
11,
didn't
and
we?
then
That par 3, Jim, where you absolutely nailed your tee shot.
Mm.
You remember it? It
Yeah.
was like, well,
Because
Jim's turned up.
I'd hit a beautiful 6-iron in there, like
Yeah.
a really nice 6-iron. I thought, yeah, nailed that. And then Jim rocked up and hit the exact same shot. I was like, fucking hell, Jim, making me look bad here.
Wasn't that special?
I was quite proud of that.
But I think a bit like I think the early par 3s were kind of just they felt like they were a bit of respite from the rest of the course because there wasn't a huge amount of challenge. It was just there was distance involved in it, and you were either up against the wind or it was going across.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like visually anything challenging. And then suddenly you hit 12 signature hole, and you're like, okay. we're
Yeah,
ready
it
for
kind
a
of switches back
challenge
on, doesn't it? Those first 3 or 4 holes are
Yeah.
really kind of
here. Yeah.
like mentally and visually challenging, and then it flattens out a little bit. You think, oh, this is okay. And then it kind of kicks off again when you go at 12, 13, 14,
Yeah.
15, 16, and it kind of plays back in another really good set of holes coming back in. I think.
You've got to drive the ball well in that course, I think, haven't you? If you
Yeah,
don't,
not really
yeah.
long, but you've got to get a reasonable yardage out of it and get it on the fairway, haven't you?
carry that bunker around with you that you get a kick off. Every time I hit a long drive, Chris kept saying, "Oh, you must have got a kick off the back of that bunker." All right, yeah, fine, mate. Yeah. I'm down here, mate. Anyway, I'm playing from down here, so yeah. So just kind of, it definitely does. You got the flow of it right. It starts off hard, eases off a little bit. And I'm talking a little bit marginally.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some long holes in there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it's a fabulous finish, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's a lovely
that
finish,
golf
isn't it?
course.
So I think that there's a par 5, is it a 15th?
15th par 5.
15th,
That was
yeah.
a great
That
hole of
green
golf,
complex
wasn't it?
was fantastic. It's like a triple layer green,
Some lovely,
really
lovely golf
long,
holes
kind of
here.
thin green with like lovely bunkering around it. That's a really nice.
It's great looking back at this actually, because you do start remembering the course a little bit more when you look at the card. And
Yeah.
lovely. And actually, it was quite receptive as well. Like it wasn't many places where it like bounced and just like kept going. Like you could hit the green and
Yeah,
to stick
I
a
mean that's
little
the
bit.
beauty of playing at that time of year, right? Like, you go
Yeah,
you
I
go 2 or
suppose
3
so.
months a and that's a whole different
Is
story.
that not happening then? No. Oh dear. So should we go to the scores?
We should mention the 16th as well. I don't know if did you mention
Oh,
it?
the 6th. Yeah. Oh,
Because the 16th was a great hole. I think my favourite hole on the course. So it's a risk reward par 4. It's only, I mean, I hit a 3-iron to try and get to the green, so it's like 240-ish, 230, 240. Down the railway down the left hand side, big dunes down the right hand side. I bailed out a little bit right, and I had a fantastic second shot into it. It was basically over a, I don't know what.
I mean, you can't see anything
30,
at any
40
point,
foot.
can you?
So there's a tiny
Yeah.
sort of slim green down the other side of this dune. And I'm playing right directly over this dune. So I had to go and put my putter at the top to try and
to get a
give
line
a
with it.
line because I had
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
nothing to go off. But I mean, that's
Yeah.
a great
You have to
proper
do that.
golf.
Is that a...
No, it's totally cheating.
Oh, is it? I was thinking that.
It was only a casual game.
Well,
was it?
Was it?
Oh shit!
Is it
not?
ever?
Does that
Does that
avoid
mean
this-
my null and void score?
No,
but
I didn't know this had happened.
yeah, like in normal golf, you don't get to play a shot like that where you're literally just playing over a dune. So you're going from the bottom, like directly over it, and the green's kind of the bottom of the other side of the dune.
That was a
So-
cracking hole of golf, wasn't it? That I remember
really
getting on the
enjoyed that
tee
hole.
and like looking at my piece of shit Garmin watch, going, "This is a par 4, great." And it was like, "There's a flag just there." And it was only like 250 yards from where we stood. It was like, "There's a flag just there." But I said to Gareth, I was like, "Is that the hole there?" Like, I'm not.
That's the
That's
third.
not another one. And he was like, "No, that's the one."
Was it?
I was like, yeah, it was one that was really, really. It wasn't. There was one to the right. That wasn't
that's
the
the
one.
third,
That was a different one. But it was straight ahead. I was like, oh, okay. In my head, I was like, that's not for me. But I was like, that's drivable. I'm like, well, why have they given you a drivable green on this one? He's like, no, the normal tee is 50 yards further
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Like, okay, right, fine, no problem. But yeah, that was a study. I mean, we had a bit of a chat before we came on, and we're probably putting 12 and 16 forward for Dream 18, right?
I think so. And I said to you, I'd be very surprised if one of those holes still isn't in the top
Yeah.
18 by the time we finish it, because they were two really,
If you were
really,
to take a bet on
really
that,
good
which one
holes.
would you think would stick around?
For me, I think
16.
probably 16. I really enjoyed that hole.
I think
I liked it a
I
lot.
think so. I played it terribly, but I think 16 is probably the one, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. But don't get me. I mean, 12 is a brilliant golf hole as well.
I think we should put both of them forward
I think we
to
definitely
Dream
both need to
18.
go in for sure.
And what other courses have had two? Which other course had
Well, I
two?
think the earlier ones we
It
picked
was
two. We picked a
Moortown,
couple
I
off
think.
Silith, didn't we?
That was
I
two
think.
from Silith. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably drop one from Silith. I think just because it's Silith. Just to get on, just to be salty to Chris. Okay, so we've done that Dream 18. We should we'll go to our scores maybe in a second, but I think before that we've mentioned him quite a lot. The chap that we played with, Gareth. So before we all came on to record this, we had a little bit. I had a little bit of a chat with him. So this is what Gareth had to say. Hello, Gareth. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for joining us in our review episode. So you had the misfortune of playing around with us just this weekend gone.
My pleasure.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to say so. Now, we're going to jump straight into the real nitty gritty here, Gareth. What did you think of our golf?
Oh, it was good. We had some fun, didn't we? We had the weather. The weather was good,
Yeah.
and we had a bit of a laugh around the links, and it was all good fun.
We had a great day. Our sort of dream in all of this is to play with people from the course or members or whatever, because the experience is enhanced so much. I mean, we'd played another local course the day before, but as soon as you've got somebody who's guiding you around, mostly telling us when we've hit it in the rough that it's going to be all right over there. I think that's
Yeah, like
sometimes
we
you
on
just
the
need to
first hole.
yeah, it'll be okay over there. Don't
It'll be
worry
fine.
about
It's not there.
Yeah, that's it. It's incredibly comforting. So you're just explain to us who you are, Gareth, and why
So,
you're actually playing with us.
so I'm the chair of membership at Aberdovey Golf Club. I do all the marketing, the social media, and basically the output and the image of the golf club. And I get the pleasure of playing with people like yourself. It's always good fun to meet new people. I think that's what makes the game so unique and so brilliant, is you can play with people you've never met in your entire life, and by the end of it, you're just chatting like your friends, like your friends for life.
It was great, wasn't it? We were talking about like
It
turning
was good fun.
30 and getting into
Yeah,
nerding out on sleep
Marks and
and stuff like
Spencers. Marks and Spencers becomes more
that.
tractable
Yeah,
when you turn 30.
that's it. So all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I never noticed this clothes before. What's going on here? Honestly, we had such a good time, and it was we appreciated your time, especially because you had come up from Cardiff, and then you were going straight back to Cardiff, which is about a 3-hour journey back. So
Yeah.
we were sort of having our chippy tea before we set off home, and first thing everyone was saying was, "What a nice chap Gareth
No,
was."
thank you.
Very nice. And how do you feel? How do you feel as opposed to normally? How do you feel you played on your round?
I played. I mean, I was on my fourth day of four of playing golf.
Yeah,
I went back to Aberdovey and I played on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it was good fun. I mean, my putting was absolutely atrocious. But
you
I
weren't
get a
having
lot
the
of
best day
jokes
on the
that way. No,
greens.
I was
Yeah,
not having my best day on the greens. The golf gods were certainly against me that day,
yeah.
but it
I,
was good fun.
I got the feeling we dragged you down a little bit as the
No,
round was
no, I
going.
dragged myself down.
Well, there was nobody really giving you any healthy competition to sharpen up your game, I think. So yeah, so we are sorry about that, Gareth.
No,
It's
no.
probably not one you're proud of. You're going to put up on the mantelpiece anywhere, I don't think. So obviously, that's your role is kind of marketing the
Yeah,
club as such. Now, we spoke about this in the preview episode between us that Aberdovey's not really a course that's kind of entered our consciousness really until we started looking at the list and
yeah.
plotting things. So it's probably not somewhere that most people listening will have ever really heard of. Uh, it's not really kind of popped up anywhere. Um, tell us a little bit about the sort of history of the club. You really sort of regaled us with some really amazing stuff about it. So that'd be great to hear from you.
So Aberdovey has quite a unique history, actually. So it's got the closest railway station to a golf course in the UK. So if you step off the platform, you're pretty much straight onto the first tee,
You
more
are
or
straight
less.
there. Yeah.
So the actual railway has a massive pivotal role in the club's history. So there was a guy called Arthur Colonel Ruck, and he was a colonel in the British Army. And he was going on the train from Machynlleth because he had family in Machynlleth, and he was heading towards Tywyn. And there was back then it was just a common ground, and he basically saw the opportunity to build a golf course. So he planted 9 flower pots along this common ground. And I think I mentioned it was by the 16th tee. So
Yeah.
they believe is where the first ever golf ball was hit in Aberdovey. Uh, and he headed down towards Tyrone, planting 9 flower pots at intervals down the railway. And then 10 years later, Aberdovey was actually founded. And then we've been playing golf there ever since. So it's quite a unique story of a guy just wanting to get into the game, wanting to grow his fondness and love for the game by planting flower plots in the ground.
It's amazing,
And
isn't it?
it's quite a unique story, really. And he was actually the family of Bernard Darwin, who's quite a famous golf writer of his time and actually quite a capable amateur golfer as well. I think he played in the Walker Cup as well. He was played in the British Amateur, um, and he's obviously used the link to Charles Darwin as well.
His name has actually come up in one of our, or is going to come up, I should say, in one of our future episodes because he wrote quite glowingly about Royal Liverpool, Hoylake.
Yeah,
So I think our paths are going to cross a little bit as we're kind of doing this journey through the top 100 because he
yeah.
must have played, a lot of those courses, particularly at sort of at that point where they were in their sort of the rawest element, and now they've all been sort of changed a little bit and refined. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think we're gonna hear that name quite a lot now.
yeah. Well, he's also the first captain as well, so you'll see his name in the actual clubhouse as well, and it's quite just seeing the history of the golf course and then the clubhouse. It just brings it all to life, just actually seeing his name because it was so long ago. But it's incredible, really.
Yeah, it was really. Now forgive me, I can't remember the chap's name, but your pro at Aberdovey.
Rob Greer, yeah,
Yeah, Rob. So he was speaking in really glowing terms about the history of the club when we sort of checked in, and it was a lovely welcome. Actually, he was so helpful. We were like, can we have a practice? He was like, hey, take a tube of balls. You just go out to the practice range and you can have a little hit over there. So we got a really really friendly. Well, I mean, I'd say you can't be over friendly. There's no such thing. But it was like so friendly. It was just an absolute pleasure to kind of experience. So thank you for the welcome that we got. Um,
no, I'm really glad you enjoyed yourselves.
oh, it was great, Gareth. Honestly, and even like Susie, who I'd been talking to, and she came up in the preview. She came and introduced us very formally. So it was all just it was a bit otherworldly. I've got to say, Gareth, it was great.
Yeah,
We had we
yeah.
had, a-
We
we had a
well,
fantastic time.
we do pride ourselves on actually welcoming people, so they are actually like a member for the day, and it's something we take quite seriously as well. We want people to feel at home at Aberdovey.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of places say stuff like that, don't they? And it sounds great on a
Yeah,
website, doesn't it? But I think you guys definitely live and breathe um, that kind of ethos, really. So yeah, it was amazing. Now there've been some recent changes to the. I think it's just this week to the top 100 in Wales. So what's going on?
so it's quite a shift really in Welsh golf. So Pennard has gone up to second best golf course in Wales, with Rawson Davis dropping down to 3. We've remained at 4, but I mean, there's so many different quality of golf in Wales. You've got Royal Porthcawl as well, which is the the personally I think is the best golf course in Wales by a considerable distance.
Mm.
But the other quality, all the quality we've got across Wales as well, it just shows actually how strong Welsh golf is as well. And you've got Conway at 5 as well, and it's quite Welsh golf is really quite it's it's growing. I mean, it's not as well known as your England, Scotland, and Ireland, But the caliber of golf courses we've got in Wales as well, it's quite high.
Yeah, I mean, we look at sort of our list. So we're the official top 100 list that we've got, and there are 4 courses in Wales, which I have to admit I was a bit surprised by, because we holiday in Wales all the time, and it's a
Yeah,
stunning place to go. The drive that we did between, or the approach into Aberdovey was just incredible, and you'd sort of think that that's set up for stunning golf courses,
yeah,
and it sort of felt like it was almost a bit of a, oh, we'll just ignore those. I mean, I know, for instance, I know Conway. I've been invited up to play at Conway, and that's supposed to be an absolutely fantastic course. And Anglesea's a stunning coastline. Um, do you feel there are any others that potentially push into that list
I
quality wise?
I mean, I personally haven't played Conway, but I've heard really good things about it. I'm also a member of RADA as well in Cardiff, which is this time of the year. It's clay based, so when the spring comes and the summer comes in, it comes back to life. It's a really good golf course. Uh, there's loads. Cardigan down in South Mid Wales has got absolutely superb views. Uh, there's Tenby. Tenby is an
Yeah.
unbelievable golf course. You're right next to the beach. I think it's like the 8th hole. You're pretty much more or less hitting off the beach. And then you've got Piling Kenfig in the south as well. There's so many golf courses that are kind of off the radar, but are quite, when you find them, they are hidden gems really in British golf.
Yeah, I think we sort of were a bit taken aback really by the value that we got as well, because it's people like us, we're there to play the golf, of course, and the golf course was amazing. We had an absolute ball playing there. There was so much character to the holes, and particularly as you're reaching towards the end of the round. We obviously did the 12th, so we tried anyway to get nearer to the pin. I mean, I think Chris managed to nail that one, didn't he? But I think nobody else got anywhere near it.
There's a bit of drama in the 12th, wasn't it? It was quite good to watch.
Was
Yeah,
quite
it
good.
was quite good. I enjoyed it.
Give us your take on it.
I mean, I left it short, just kind of yeah, I left mine short, and then yourself and Chris both stuck it just off the green, didn't you? And then you both left your putt short. I think my putting actually must have rubbed off on you, really. And then it was a bit of a who's going to sink this now, putt off, really. And just to watch it was really quite good fun.
A par 3 halved in 4. I mean, that's
Par 3 half
ridiculous.
hole. I mean, the 12th hole as well. I think it's 120 yards. An uphill par 3. I mean, they're quite unique, really, to get uphill
Yeah.
par 3s. But it's not to be sniffed at, really. I call
No.
that the actual amen corner of Aberdovey. I mean, 11, 12, 13 Aberdovey. I've had so many absolute catastrophes in that part of the golf course.
I can totally see that. And
Yeah.
is it the 13th that's the drivable par 4, or is that the 16th?
That's the 16th. So we played off the winter tees. But when the summer comes back again, we'll be playing off back on those tees, and it's perfect for me because I hit a fade. So you start it off on the railway. I mean, it can get quite sketchy sometimes if a train comes around the corner and you're halfway through a swing. But that's my personal favourite hole, Aberdovey. It's quite a unique hole, really.
The track is just there. Like
the track is right next to the.
There's no distance. It's just it is there. We were quite lucky. We weren't anywhere near the trains at the time, so that was good.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have threatened them otherwise. Right now, Gareth, before we leave you, we do have to ask you about one thing. So we were walking down. I think if my memory serves me correctly, we would have been walking down maybe the 4th or the 5th.
I think it was the 4th hole. Yeah.
4th hole, and you pointed out a town. I'm presuming it's a town, but it's Tywyn. That was a bit.
Tywyn, yeah.
It's a bit further down the coast. And tell me what you told me on that.
Not actually golf related, but it's quite a unique story actually. So the Talyllyn Railway, which is just located, you can see it from majority of the golf course really, is actually the found in place of Thomas the Tank Engine. So Reverend Audrey, I think his name was, he actually came up with the idea of Thomas the Tank based on the Towson Railway.
Amazing, that, isn't it?
My childhood, that was as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, the amount of Thomas the Tank Engine books we got in our house. I mean, yeah, I told my son that, and he was like, "What?
Yeah,
That's where it's from?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He was like, "Oh, let's go and see Thomas." I was like, no, I don't think that's a thing. But anyway, yeah, it's maybe you need to tone it down a bit, turn down your expectations a bit. But I was like, "What? Thomas the Tank
yeah,
Engine?" But, yeah, I mean, yeah, phenomenal. But again, that's the beauty of it. I think that getting stories like that as you're walking around, we'd have never found that out otherwise.
yeah.
So. Forget all the golf stuff, actually, Gareth. That was my favourite.
That was
That's
a
my
favourite
favourite
fact
moment.
of the day.
Fact of the day and favourite round. I think you were very like because I think it was early in the round as well. You're like really apologetic when you tell me you're like, oh, it's not really strictly golf related this, but like actually that's probably better.
Yeah,
Take our minds off the golf for a minute. But yeah, yeah. I was trying to think if there's anything else there was loads of other stuff that we talked about. Obviously, aside from now liking Marks and Spencers,
Max and Spencer's, Thomas the
Thomas
Tank,
the Tank
and
Engine.
Paul Putton.
Yeah. Well, Gareth, I think all that's left for me to say is that honestly, we had a fantastic round with you. It was an absolute pleasure walking round. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'd love to come back at some point. I
Welcome
know
back anytime, all of you. I really enjoyed it. Good
that's
company.
great. Very, very kind of you to say so, Gareth, and we will certainly take advantage of that. I mean, and actually, just to visit the area again anyway, it was stunning. And I mean, our kids even managed to have a beach day on the Saturday in Aberdovey, and they just said it was just perfect. So I think that kind of greased the wheels of being able to do this again. So maybe we'll
For
do
sure.
back-to-back rounds or something like
For
that.
sure.
Yeah, and we'll try and give you a bit of a better game this time.
I'll try and raise my game as well.
Oh no, you don't need to do that. Don't worry. But yeah, thank you, Gareth. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
So that's a few words from Gareth, and we must say again, even if we may have said it before, but huge thanks to him. He's also got a business where he does drone photography, which the visuals are stunning. So he did actually say that he'd be happy for us to use the whole photography for anything that we wanted to feature. So I think maybe we'll put that on for the 2 holes because a picture never does that justice. You know, the stuff that your eyes take in, just you can't get it on a picture. So
Yeah, no.
I think we'll probably get those, and that'll be a little plug for him as well. I think that'll be quite a nice thing to do. But
Yep.
Before we do finally go to scorecards, perhaps we should give our course rating and club rating. So I can't remember now. What did we decide? I think we sort of had a bit of a chat about it, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
On Messenger, and maybe we should revisit that. But I think club, we sort of said, where do we say now? I think we had a bit of disagreement actually, didn't we?
We did. Me and you had a little bit of disagreement on
Yeah,
that.
I think, did we say we wanted to go 8.5 on
I think we went
club?
8.5 for the club.
Yeah, because we sort of said it was probably 8 because of things like then there wasn't a driving range and
Yeah.
things like that. So not their fault. There's no room. Like, where do you fit that in?
Got a beach there.
That's a fair point. Yeah. Just get it on the beach, for God's sake. However, they definitely deserved a bit of a bump up with the overall friendliness.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely, for
everybody
sure.
was same hymn sheet. Like,
Yeah.
everybody knew what they were doing, and there's no intimidation about that place at all.
Not
They
at all,
just walk
no.
in. And actually, you get that feeling straight away as soon as you walk in. It's a bizarre thing to explain, but you cross those tracks. We were excited anyway, but you cross the tracks and it's just like it just feels nice and comfortable. And I don't know. What do you think? Or am I just talking utter
Gibberish.
nonsense?
But I think the clubhouse was great, though, wasn't it? Like really
Clubhouse was
big,
lovely.
modern kind
Yeah.
of facility. It
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Maybe we should go to the actual official scorecards. So back-to-back rounds of golf, which was pretty good. I love that. And it felt like a proper nice weekend away. Kids loved it, all that kind of stuff. So Jim, we'll start with you. At St David's, you shot 115, which we said was a very creditable score.
Condescending bastard.
No,
I'm joking,
I
I'm
think
joking,
it was.
I'm joking.
That was a tough intro. First
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
time at a links course.
That was only the second time
Yeah.
I'd used the new bats as well.
And like I said, because I shot 113 round Silith,
Yeah.
and I
But
think,
of course, you knew.
of course, I knew, and
Yeah.
it was much less challenging conditions. I think 115 around there is actually
Pretty good.
very respectable.
We got 106 at Aberdovey. I thought Aberdovey played harder than St David's. I think there were a lot of visually very challenging holes, and there was more wind up, which there wasn't as much at St David's.
Yeah, I think going out in 47, I
Mm.
got a bit overexcited. And I think that when it
Yeah,
came
you were out
crashing
in
down, it did come
47,
crashing
mate.
down.
Yeah, well, that was phenomenal. That's a good round of golf. That was a good front
Mm.
nine, isn't it? Out in
I'm
47.
starting to grow into the clubs now, so just need to do a bit of practice and keep it up, get more
Yeah,
consistent.
absolutely.
I didn't have any disastrous holes, absolutely disastrous holes in this one. I had 3 which I messed up quite badly, but not.
But even then, you're only scoring 7s and 8s.
Yeah.
Like my disasters are getting up to 10. If
Well,
I have
I
a
think I
bad
had one
hole,
at
it's getting up to 9, 10. And that's your card record, isn't it?
Mm.
Straight away. Right. So I thought that was really good. Chris, you got an 85 to back up your 83 at St David's.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about your 85?
I was a bit disappointed in my 85, if I'm honest. Like I say, I just a little bit of that. Yeah, a few of those poor shots just crept
9
back in,
pars in
especially
there.
off the tee. Yeah, I think when it was, for the most part, it was good, but just some sloppy shots cost me
Yeah.
a few doubles that shouldn't have been doubles.
Shouldn't have been. Yeah. Probably the first hole didn't help, did it?
First hole wasn't a great
good
start. No.
Yeah. I shot an 83,
83.
which for me was phenomenal. Very happy with that.
You were just consistent.
Solid, wasn't it?
Solid all day. You were
striking it really, really. I mean, he kept saying, didn't he, Gareth? Like, strike. Like the telling thing was the par threes. I was much better on the par threes this time, and I got birdie. Got to do the dance. That was good.
It's awful dance you to work at that, mate.
Or just make less birdies.
I'll just make less.
It's better for us all round.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 pars and a birdie, 9. So I went back and listened to the New Year's episode, the awards one, and just listened to what our targets were for the year. So one of my targets was to place my handicap, which I did the day before.
Yeah.
One of them was to break 90, which I nearly did at St David's, and I definitely did here. And then the other one is to get 9 pars in a round. So I feel like I'm trending towards that.
You need to set some better goals, Nish. They were too easy.
You've
done them in the first 2 rounds of the year.
It's a bit bonkers, really.
What were my goals? Can you remember?
No, you wanted to score something in the 70s. I think that was your one. You said I want to shoot something in the 70s, which I don't think you're too far off.
No, it feels like I'm heading that way. I think.
I wouldn't have said those 2 scores that I've got, a 90 and an 83, were possible around Christmas time because I was so down about my golf in general.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. That's good. So yeah,
that was a pleasure to play with you. So thanks very much for the invitation.
It was a great weekend. What a double header that was. It
Brilliant.
was it was fantastic.
And overall now, which we've now put it on the website. Now it's close. I decided to put it on the website. Overall, after 5 rounds, you are plus 115 and I'm plus 116.
Plus 115 after 5 rounds.
5 rounds, yeah. So that's what, about 20 over each round.
26.
Silith nailed you, really. That was not a good start. I'll just try and see if I can get the overall. Yeah, you're plus 115, I'm plus 116. So it'll be interesting to see how that then translates and carries on.
Yep.
But yeah, and I think we've done Aberdovey Golf Club justice there. I think it deserves all the plaudits it gets.
It deserves a lot of plaudits. We really enjoyed it.
And it was £80 for a round of golf there. Throwaway money.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah, go and do that.
Definitely.
So new outro. We don't want. Please subscribe, and please share this episode because it would mean the world to us. Because we are getting some really good reviews for the podcast. So it's always nice to hear that kind of feedback.